Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500+ SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge-sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500+ SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge-sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500 plus SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500 plus SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session. My name is Etalı, and I will be your moderator for today. Allow me to welcome everyone to this session for being here. We are going to be having another great session with another very professional speaker on our midst. Some of you have already attended this session, this masterclass series in the past that we have had. And we do have some more sessions, upcoming sessions ahead. So please keep a lookout. For those who you have missed out and you are attending for the first time, thank you so much for joining. We are glad to have you and we welcome you. We have seen the past speakers presented on various topics, and we have many more topics coming up. So do stay updated with us on these sessions. If you'd like, feel free to use the chat box to comment where you are watching this from. We will be happy to know that. So before I go ahead here, I would also like to introduce my colleague who is helping me co-moderate this session, Anjali. So if you have any questions, if you have any queries, feel free to ping her on the chat box. She will be happy to help you. Before we dive into the session, the most important part of the session with our speaker, I want to introduce the hosting organization as well. So we are known as Global Skill Development Council. We are a vendor agnostic international credentialing body. We have certified over 90,000 professionals worldwide. We are certified, we are accredited with ANSI and ABICB members. We have over 500 plus SMEs, 1,000 plus MNC corporates recognition. We are also recognized by over 30 plus universities. We are also proud to be partnered with over 60 plus global training partners. I believe some of you are here through our partner channel. So thank you so much for joining. And if you have any more queries regarding the GSDC website, you can reach out to our partners to connect with them and learn more about the GSDC programs, the value of the certifications that we have. If you would like to check our website, our link is shared on the chat box. You can have a look there. Here, I would like to give a quick shout out and an appreciation to our proud patrons. So what our patrons do is they work, they are the ones who keep on sharing about these knowledge sharing events that we have, and through them, it is you that you are joining. So thank you so much to the patrons whoever are here. Thank you so much for always sharing and supporting our events. Also, a big shout out to our official media partner, World Press Hub. Thank you for always supporting us in all our events. Here you can see a list of our certification portfolios. We have over 100 plus certification portfolio. And if you are interested in anything, any other programs other than generative AI, then do feel free to reach out to us. You can find our link on the chat box. You can reach out to us and connect with our learning advisors to get more information on this. For now, we will be focusing on generative AI. For today, generative AI and project management in particular. So if you would like to check out the certification as well, do have a look on our website. The link is shared on the chat box. A very good news to some of all the attendees who are here and also who are joining right now. You all will be receiving a complimentary $200 GSDC exam voucher, totally complimentary for joining this session, for attending here. You will receive this after the masterclass is over, so do have a look out on your inbox for that. Just to point out here, whenever you get certified with GSDC, you get a lifelong membership with us automatically. You get access to all our events, all our knowledge sharing events, and also a unique feature is that you get complimentary upgrade to any certificates that you are looking for. So do have a look out to get certified with the complimentary certificate that we will be distributing and become a lifelong membership with us. A quick information that we will be having a gamification session. I'm sure most of you have already played this with us. Some who haven't played this, then do stay with us till the end, because we will be playing the gamification session at the end of the session. We will have many quizzes in alignment with the program that we have, with the topic that we have, and also the top winner will be winning a $400 word certificate on generative AI. So do have a look out on that, and we will catch up after the speaker session is over. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. We have Mr. Timothy Bull, and we are so honored to have him. A little about him is that he is a UK-based expert with a background in the tech research company Gartner for over 8 years in the project management sector. He has also worked closely with big organizations like PMI, Hot PMO, and House of PMO, and has over 15 plus years of experience in this field. So thank you so much, Timothy, for being here with us. We are so honored to have you. And just before I give you the virtual mic over to you, I want to let all the candidates, all the participants here know that we will be having a 15 minutes Q&A session. So please utilize this session to ask your questions to the speaker. You can utilize the chat box for that. And we will head over to the questions section after Timothy is done with the presentation. So yeah, Timothy, if you are ready, you can go ahead, take over the mic, take over the screen.
Hello. Hello, Setolo, and thank you, Anjali, as well. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and thank you to the GSDC for setting up today's session. I hope I'm going to make it very entertaining for you. We're going to run through a few topics, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start sharing my screen with you. So if you bear with me just a moment, share my screen, and I shall start my presentation. Can everyone see my screen okay?
It's perfect, Timothy.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much to the Global Skill Development Council for arranging today's presentation on generative AI and project management. Hopefully, I'm going to give you lots of good food for thought, and going to share lots of interesting things today. So I'm going to go through some brief details about myself. Going to talk a bit about the generative AI background. What do we mean by it? What's happening with it? I'm going to talk a bit broadly about AI and project management. Particularly what some of the experts have been saying. I'm then going to talk about how one Finnish company, the one I'm working for, has worked to square the circle with AI and project management. And I'm actually going to, as part of that, I'm going to actually share a bit of a demo of our platform so I can show you how we've made it work. So I can show you it for yourselves. And then I'll have some contact details so you can reach out for me. And then we'll have time for Q&A and then the gamification. So a little bit about me. So I'm a experienced technology executive. Spent about last 10 years working in the tech industry, including a couple of years at the tech research company Gartner. I'm a long-term technology fan, ever since winning a Nintendo Game Boy in a packet of crisps, you might call them chips, at the age of 10. I've now spent over 8 years in the project management space, as Setlo mentioned. And I'm currently working for Keto Software, which is a Finnish company that provides strategic portfolio management with AI. If you want to reach out to me, you've got my email address there as well. So timothy.ball@ketosoftware.com. And I'll put that up toward the end as well. So I wanted to start off with talking a bit about a generative AI background. And before anyone asks, yes, we did use generative AI to generate the background of this image. But I'm going to talk a bit about the kind of history, what's happened, where we're at, why now. So the concept of artificial intelligence has long been a dream of humankind. And you can look back to ancient myths and legends. The Greeks had a phrase called automata, which means moves by its own will. So the idea of mechanized creatures, mechanized humans who would move, who would be active, who do all those kind of things. The most famous of whom in Greek myth is Talos, and Talos was the myth goes, Talos was made by the Greek god Hephaestus, who is it's basically an engineering god, a blacksmith god. And he was made to guard the Isle of Crete in Greece. And he met his end at the hands of Jason on his quest for the Golden Fleece. But nonetheless, this is an idea that there was already an idea in the human mind of creating machines, creating ideas that could work and operate on their own devices. And that concept has long been on humans' minds. And in fact, in ancient Greece, there were rumors of brilliant inventors, Daedalus, Hero Alexandria, who managed to actually make mechanized humans in appearance, mechanized animals, so on. It's a fascinating story, but the reason I'm sharing it is because this has long been on humanity's mind. Now, artificial intelligence, particularly things such as chess, this has also been long in mind. In the mid 1700s, there was a very famous example. It was called the Turk, and what it was like the appearance of like a, how to describe it. It was like a chest, like a storage chest, and to one side of it, on the other side of it, sat like a mannequin of a man wearing very fine Ottoman robes, hence the name the Turk. And what would happen is on top of this chest was a chessboard, and this mechanized figure, the Turk, could pick up chess pieces and move them around the board. And the kind of story went was that this was a real artificial intelligence and it could actually play people at chess. Now, we know that this wasn't true. We know it was either someone in the chest itself or someone actually within the frame of the mannequin. But it set the idea in mind of artificial intelligence doing these activities, being able to respond to being able to respond to human interactivity. Jumping forward, I mean, the Turk was very famous. It toured Europe and the USA, and it lasted for some 80 years until I think it got burned down in a museum somewhere. So it was an example of people yearning and dreaming of artificial intelligence. And although it wasn't real, it was enough that people kind of believed it. Now, jumping through to the end of the 20th century, you had IBM creating the very famous chess computer Deep Blue, which very famously in 1997 beat the Russian chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov. I think over a series of 6 games, it won 2 and drew 3. So it's another example of how AI went from being an idea, sort of a playful thing with the mechanical thing of the Turk, to actually being something that's real with Deep Blue. And also, of course, it's also important to recognize that in pop culture, there have been plenty of AI nightmares. The fears about, well, what could AI actually do? So you've got just a few examples of movies. You've got the 2001: A Space Odyssey, where a starship's computer essentially goes crazy because it has competing instructions, and it says, well, it fights itself. You have the Terminator, of course, with Skynet, which rebels against humanity. And you have Ex Machina, which again is something else about AI rebelling against humanity. So AI has been a long dream of mankind, of humanity, but it's also been something that has been a fear as well. Now, jumping to this current decade, and we have what's the launch of ChatGPT and the new what's been called the AI boom. Now, ChatGPT itself was launched to the public on 30th of November 2022. And I want you to remember that date because that's going to become something really, really important in a moment. It stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Try saying that one fast. And it's built on a large language-based model, which essentially it works on, you have a conversation with it. It learns from the conversations. And it's powered and it's been enabled because of a lot of the modern generation of machine learning, a lot of the big, much more powerful quantum computers and other things that are being developed. And when it launched, it quickly became the then fastest growing consumer software application in history. So I think within a short period of time, they had over 100 million people logging in using the application. I'm one of them, by the way, in case you were wondering. So this then led to a boom of all sorts of other similar systems. You had Google Gemini, you had Ernie Bot, you had Llama, Claude, Grok, and then of course Microsoft, which I understand has a controlling interest in OpenAI. They launched what they call Copilot, so their own artificial intelligence tool, which is built on the ChatGPT GPT-4 model. Now, the crucial thing is that there were a lot of these sort of technologies in the ether before, obviously things like Deep Blue that were very focused on a particular thing. What has made the crucial difference now, what has launched the AI boom, is how it's all to actually use and engage with a lot of these tools. it's all built around very simple to understand prompt-based text input. So anyone who's able to use a word processor, able to use a computer, can test out and try these different tools for themselves. And I would encourage you to kind of have a look, and I would encourage you to have a sort of, test some of these systems if you haven't done so already. But this has been the big difference. So yes, there was the big increase in computing power, but it's also been the concept about making it very simple for people to actually put their information in, test it, work with different prompts, and work from there. And part of the large language model is it will learn from previous things in order to refine and better improve what's being shared. So, of course, once you had the start of the AI boom, there's a question: is this like a new Wild West in terms of technologies? All of a sudden, you had not just chatbots. You had being able to turn text to pictures. So you had Midjourney as one example, prompt text to video. Sora AI is a huge example of that. And again, I would really encourage you to sort of look into some of those ones. This has led to all kinds of things. This led to deep fakes. I saw, for example, there was an American rapper who shared a deep fake of a political candidate. I won't go into more details. Saying all kinds of things that would not would not be said in public. And so there's questions about, well, can we trust what's being said? There's other things that are like, there's been an increase recently of like songs done in AI in the voices of dead artists. So questions around, well, what happens with the rights of those? And a lot more kind of things going on. As a result of all these things, there's been a lot of concerns over AI impacting jobs. And of course, last year we had a couple of Hollywood strikes in the US. And that was one of the big reasons why I think the Writers Guild, I think they're called, why they went on strike, because they were concerned about, well, what could AI do? Could AI in fact take over much of their jobs and much of their work? And it's just, and on a related note, Sora AI, and this is from the Guardian, just last month. Tyler Perry, who's an American US film and TV mogul, my understanding is that he has a very large film studio, TV studio in Atlanta, Georgia, over in the States, and he was about to add an additional 12 sound stages to his studio. So it's not just the amount of space, but it's also all the employees, it's all their work, it's all the different things in the background, all the people, the technologists, all the people behind it who would have been hired as a result. But he's now put a pause to this because of Sora AI, because now increasingly what a lot of people are able to do is with a few prompts and a few edits, they're able now to create almost Hollywood level short films, at least at the moment. And I've seen some of them and they're absolutely incredible. So what's happening now is with all these new tools that are being developed, and they're all using those kind of core things, the increasing computing power, the machine learning, and also the easy to use prompt-based activities. These are now all causing lawmakers to be on the back foot. There's questions, things like IP, security, and many more. So lots of food for thought, and kind of a question then is, well, what can AI not do? And this was something I saw that just made me smile. Hey, ChatGPT, finish this building. So there's questions, these sort of things, and then we have lots of other questions in mind. So bearing in mind those things, and I'll cover this a little bit more. We jump into more project management. But what skills are needed in the future? How fast will AI develop? What jobs will die or be born? How can we regulate things? Are we living in a matrix? Are we in a simulation? I know Elon Musk is a big fan of that. What's my place in the world? And which businesses will succeed? Now, bearing in mind all those things, and I would say it's important to consider, okay, what are the pros and cons? What are the cons? But I would also say that there's there's ways of looking at AI as being your like a personal trainer or an advisor. And the World Economic Forum, it produced a really interesting article, which I encourage you to read, which is, and I'll just take a short bit from it here. AI is not a threat to jobs, but rather a way to enhance and augment human capabilities, allowing people to focus on higher level tasks that require creativity, critical thinking, empathy. All of the core things that AI cannot do. AI can take on certain things, but it's these key elements. This is the human difference. Now, I'm going to jump into AI and project management in a moment, but if I may, if I can ask Setolo, if you're happy to share the poll with our audience here today, and I would like to ask you, our audience here today, how often do you use any AI tools in your work? Is it kind of, have you never used any? Do you use them maybe a couple of times a year, maybe once a month, once a week, or every day? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I give a couple of minutes for people to finish their submissions. Very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm seeing the everyday is winning, and there's one person who's been very brave and said never, and I really appreciate you being open about that. Thank you very much. I can't see who's given which answers, but I appreciate seeing this. Perfect. So we'll just wait a little bit more for a couple more answers, but it's great to kind of see. Very interesting. Okay, we'll give a couple more minutes and then we'll jump into AI and project management. Well, if anyone else wants to submit their answers, that's fantastic. What I can say is thank you very much for sharing. And a couple of you who have said never, I appreciate you being really open with us. It's really good to know, and I can see kind of most people, some nearly half have said nearly every day or every day. A lot of people at least once a week, once a month. But it's really good to know, and I hope that today's session will help give you a bit more confidence to use and try some of these things. Is it okay if we end that poll there, Setolo, and I'll carry on? Perfect. Thank you very much for that. I'll just I'll close that down. Thank you very much for sharing on that. It's always really good to kind of know where people are coming from. So I'm gonna move on. So AI and project management. I like that robot there. Now, bearing in mind, remember the date of when ChatGPT launched to the public. I was at Project Challenge Expo 2022. Project Challenge, if anyone knows of it, it has been one of the leading project management events in the UK and has also attracted a lot of people from around the world. In the Expo in 2022, which was in September 2022, there was a big session all around artificial intelligence, and and I share this here now. There were these sort of very clever people who said we didn't find any real use cases for AI and PPM software. So what they're saying is they couldn't find any real use cases for AI in project portfolio management, which was quite amazing. And we had I had my CTO in this, actually attend that session. He came away from it just thinking that they're not seeing the big picture. Now, jumping ahead a few months, artificial intelligence, this is at the APM Portfolio Management SIG conference in May 2023, again in London. AI was voted one of the top 3 areas of interest for portfolio managers over the next 3 years in terms of potential impact on the project profession. So what happened in the meantime was obviously the launch of ChatGPT and the start of the modern AI boom. So things went from people saying, well, we don't know how we can use it, to suddenly saying, this is going to be one of the most important things we need to be aware of. And in terms of what industry experts are now saying, Antonio Nieto Rodriguez, he is the former chair of the Project Management Institute. He's a PMI fellow, very experienced, very knowledgeable in what he does. And he had this to say. It's an article in the Harvard Business Review. I'd encourage you to read it. It's a really interesting piece. He quoted some research by Gartner that said by 2030, 80% of project management tasks will be run by AI, powered by big data, machine learning, and natural language processing. So what this is AI taking on board a lot of the kind of current burdens and powered by those things, having a lot of data, machine learning, all those kind of crucial things. And he outlined 6 particular areas where project management will be disrupted. So one of them was around better selection and prioritization. So this was around how AI can help supporting and saying, okay, well, which projects do we run? Maybe what projects should we end? Greater support for the project management office. So this was all around the AI becoming like part of the PMO and supporting them, making things visible, working with these different areas. Then you've got another kind of key area around things like improved, faster project definition, planning, and reporting. And I'm going to share a bit about how our software does some of these things in a moment. Virtual project assistants, so having AIs that can essentially be reviewing projects, giving feedback, supporting you as you grow and develop. And then 5th is advanced testing of systems and software. Do your processes, do the systems you have in place, is the software actually, is it working to support you? Is it doing what you need it to do? And then 6th, which I found very interesting, was about a new role for the project manager. So if in 6 years' time, 80% of project management tasks are run by AI, then what Antonio argues is that the role of the project manager will be changed. There'll be a lot more focus, say, on the soft skills of, say, persuasion, of working with people, less on the kind of the administrative and much more on the communicative, much more on the persuasive. A lot of those kind of key, very, very human skills. So it's saying that project management will be disrupted by AI, but ultimately there's lots of very positive things that will come from that. A freeing up from lots of the tasks and a focus on, well, how can we do things better? And how can we, for want of a better word, be more human? Now, of course, it would go without saying that I would ask ChatGPT what it would say how AI could benefit project management. And I like what it said, so I'm sharing a bit of it here with you today. So what it says is project managers can leverage AI in various ways. It can do predictive analytics, so it can analyze historical project data to see things like potential risks, timelines, resource requirements, better decision making. Task automation. It can help things with routine tasks such as scheduling, resource allocation, progress tracking, so on and so forth. Natural language processing, so things like analyzing project-related documents, which is something that we're actually going to be doing soon with Keto. Emails and communication channels. Resource optimization, so things like, do you have the right resources in the right place to deliver what's been promised? And then suggesting, well, how can we improve efficiency? And you've got things like your risk management. What are potential risks? And of course, risk management is a very important skill. And here's also where the AI can support. So it can look at these things And then the project managers, the risk managers handling this can then say, well, do we approve this or not? You've got things like decision support, quality assurance, and then personalized learning. And then it says very optimistically, by integrating AI technologies into their workflows, project managers can streamline processes, improve decision making, and ultimately deliver projects more efficiently and effectively. And I would agree with a lot of this. I think this is very positive. And as you'll see in a moment when I share a bit of our platform, we're adapting this and putting a lot into our system as well. So I'm going to share with you how one Finnish company, that's us at Keto, how we've squared the circle. So how we've looked at this and said, okay, we started developing the AI part of our system. Ironically enough, around that time at Project Challenge, when all the supposed experts at that time were saying there were no use cases for using AI in project management. And we were convinced there was something really good to be done. And something that kind of came to our mind was what Accenture calls we've referred to it now as the rule of 30, 40, and 50. And what it talks about is integrating things like AI technology can help reduce costs by 30%, increase efficiency by up to 40%, and improve decision-making accuracy by up to 50%. So all of these kind of things, what does this mean? So you're reducing costs, you're improving efficiencies, which again help with costs, help to get to money faster, and improving decision-making accuracy. So it's being one of those trusted advisors to help and say, well, what's happening here? Now, a little bit about us at Keto. So we were founded in Finland in 2003. We now have over 120,000 users around the world of our software in more than 30 countries. We work with over 25 plus global enterprises, as well as a number of local and more regional players as well. And we had a 30% revenue growth over last year, so that is 2023. And we have a customer retention rate by revenue over 10 years, about 90%, which is much higher than most of the rest of the competition. Now, Keto itself, Keto actually means meadow in Finnish. So you get hundreds of different types of flowers and plants growing on the Keto. When you gather them together in a bouquet, you make something beautiful. Likewise, with our software, we provide no-code strategic portfolio management AI that works in a very similar principle. So gathering your strategies, project portfolios, and resources into one place, like collecting flowers from a meadow to make a beautiful bouquet. Now, the way our platform works and the way we've worked to connect those different elements of AI with project management, we have what we call a no-code platform. And you can sort of see it here. It looks like a little cloud in the middle of all these things that we can connect with all sorts of different systems, including multiple AIs, including customer data, finance data, employee data, document data, and then communicating tasks like development tool sets, Jira, Azure DevOps. And so what we are doing here is linking all this information. So linking the big data, linking machine learning, all these different elements together so that our customers can benefit from it. In terms of what we do strategic portfolio management. So it does things like defining, aligning objectives and strategic initiatives, and doing things like prioritizing and managing demands, benefits, financials, resources, and risks, and then managing roadmaps and dependencies. And if you remember what I just shared a little bit earlier on, there are lots of elements there about, what is it that people are looking for to help, and how can AI help? Now, in terms of what our software does, there's kind of three big questions we help people tackle. One is around what strategies and OKRs or KPIs, or some might call them initiatives, does your organization have? What is being measured and how are they tracked? Secondly, are your projects, programs, and portfolios on track to deliver those strategies and OKRs? And that includes all those things like RAID logs, so risks, issues, and so on and so forth, benefits, etc. And then do you have the right resources in the right places to help deliver everything that has been promised? And one of the things we've developed in the platform has been an advanced algorithm to help organizations with saying, okay, do we have the right resources in the right place? And I'll share a little bit about that when I get into the demo in just a moment. And then why is Keto unique? And I would say there's kind of three key elements to it. One is that we're built on a no-code platform. That doesn't mean there's no templates, there's no structure to anything, but rather what it means is that there are lots of things built into the tool that you can put together with understanding simple text structures. So you're not having to have a lot of coding knowledge, but very much like with a lot of these generative AI systems, it's built around prompts. It's built around these kind of if this then. And this has helped us with a platform that's able to get set up and running much faster than much more of the more traditional competition. It allows us also to be process-based, but process agnostic. And the natural language structure also makes it far easier for us to integrate with other systems, such as we discovered in late 2022, early 2023, with systems like ChatGPT and other generative AI systems. So we've built seamless AI integration into our platform. So you're not having to go from to suddenly cut and paste something into ChatGPT. It's all in the system itself. And you've got things like, for example, content generation. So things like the tool is able to generate things like project descriptions, tasks, risks, and so on, all the way up through to AI portfolio analysis and guidance. And we've also integrated some new functionalities. For example, with using DeepL, we can do real-time text translation, and we've got lots more to come. And our tool is very proudly made in Finland for humans. So we're built around Nordic design. So it's all about having, being on the cutting edge of innovation, having a really beautiful user interface and a top user experience. And we believe very much that software should support your organization, not force you to fit the software. So let me give you a short demonstration so I can actually show you we mean what we say. So if you'll bear with me just a moment, I'm going to share my screen again with you. Here we go. There we go. Can everyone see this okay? I'm going to assume so. So what we have here is we have the front page of our system. Now, we've set this up for a fictional energy company because we work with lots of companies in the energy, manufacturing, other similar sectors. And I've created a front page here with, we've got lots of dashboards. I won't go through too much of them, but it's all designed to be incredibly clickable. I'll give you some very kind of brief details. So you can see things like a risk severity map on other areas. And so on and so forth. So beautiful dashboards able to be created quite easily. I'll give you a brief kind of overview of kind of, well, what does this actually mean practically? So if I jump in here, for example, I've got the list of this fictional organizations, OKRs. So here we have, for example, a list of the company objectives, and then it's broken down into OKRs. So I can see here things, for example, there's a focus on ESG. I can click on this and then immediately go into a particular OKR, and I can start saying, well, what's actually happening here? I can see the progress status is poor, and I can drill down and see, well, what's happening? And maybe there are different projects associated with that. So we have all projects, all these different areas in there. And if I go back into here, we have a portfolio analysis function. So what I'm able to see here is, as an example of what AI can do, and in this particular example, we've connected with ChatGPT for this purpose today, and we've set different prompts. So all this is being run in our Keto software platform. So what I can see here, for example, is I can see new ideas for future OKRs. So it can sort of come up with new concepts for me. I can also look at and say, well, okay, there's OKRs with inadequate strategic alignment. So the AI can draw my attention and say, well, there's things you're working on here that say actually where you're missing out on certain things. And I can say, well, actually, I need to take action on these. And I can also look as well, the AI can analyze and tell me, well, how effectively are your OKRs aligned with your strategic objectives? And it gives me all that information, all reviewed, because it's gone through the data I presented it with. And this is all prompt-based. I can also ask it a direct question. I could ask it something like, which is my least successful? There we go. The least successful company objective appears to be draft a plan of carbon neutralization. So using, again, a very similar approach here, we've put this system in place so that you can ask it direct questions. You can have prompts built behind the scenes, and I'll jump into that a little bit more, how that works. But I can also as well use this to suggest, to ask it direct questions as well. So I'm now effectively talking to my portfolio, in this case, the portfolio of all our strategies and OKRs. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to jump into a bit more of a kind of traditional project. So if we go in here, in fact, let me just go from the front page here. Now, this is as I said, it's a fictional energy company. It's a sustainable energy company. So they've got a project here called rooftop solar panels. Now, what we've done here is you can see a couple of buttons pop up a few places, and we're going to jump into the business case and I'll share with you more. So what we have here, you can see a couple of buttons. Now, this purple flower button, because keto means meadow in Finnish, we've built into this tool prompts behind the scenes that when you click this button, it will do something. It will do something that has been primed to work. So it could be, you need to look at this. It needs to do this. So what this is doing here is this is making it really simple for people to be able to engage with AI, to use it to support them in their roles. So if I click on this button here, for example, what needs to be done, and I can get the AI to generate some text for me. And this has not been, I've not written this. This has been drawn from the existing data. This has also been drawn from the prompts we put in to come up and suggest some of these ideas. Now, I don't need to necessarily be stuck with these. I can say, well, we don't really need this one. Just an example. It's very important, but I'm just using an example here. And I can then get the AI to improve the language again. And in this case, it's taken what was a number list and turned it into a paragraph. So the tool gives a lot of this powerful potential. And again, because it's a no-code platform, you can all do this within the system itself. You're not having to go away and ask a developer to do this. Of course, we also would limit this in terms of who has access to this capability. And in terms of that functionality there as well, we have the language translation. And for this particular environment, we have it in German and obviously English, and then also Finnish. So I don't speak Finnish, but many of my colleagues do. And I'm assured that the language translation is absolutely top notch. So we work with 3 different things. So again, if I'm a project manager going in here, I can use this to help me with creating the content. And in just a couple of minutes, I'll be showing you a bit more about how this can work in a bit more detail. And if I go in here and say, for example, the risks, and if I click on this button, it can actually analyze the data that is in the system or where it's pulling information from. So, for example, something we're about to launch is the ability to analyze, say, project documents and pull information from them, and then be able to generate things. So here, for example, for risks, it's already created. So I can look at this here now, and it's saying feasibility impact analysis. So it's looking at me and saying, okay, well, this is the description, and it's recommending mitigation actions. So it's using AI to help save me a heck of a lot of time, take a lot of the burdens off me. Now, I don't have to stick with this. I can delete these details. But again, it's about helping me and saying, okay, well, what's most important for you? Now, within this project, there's already a task timeline, but one of the things the tool can actually do is once you fill enough of the kind of core information, you could click that button and the AI could then generate a task list for you. So again, bearing in mind with what Antonio was recommending and sort of seeing that that these tools can start doing. And then if I look at things, for example, resources. Now, within this particular project, there's already different elements in play. Now, if I look at, let's drop on this particular one. And this particular avenue, this is a particular task called sales. I can see that Marco has been allocated to this, and I can see the differences between his capacity versus what he's been allocated. And then crucially, what the system can then do, you can actually say, well, to do this task, actually, we think we might need someone else because Marco's massively over capacity on this one. And what I can then do is I can say, well, I want to have a specific cost center. I want to look at particular certifications. And I will look at as well, do I want someone senior? Do I want someone mid-level? And then what the tool can do is it can actually then recommend different people based on those requirements. So this is, again, how all these different elements come together. In this case, it can recommend to me, or maybe it should be Hannah Henley. And then what I could do is I could then select and then send the allocation request. And that would then go off to her line manager. So it's all these ways of how AI can support in saving time. Now, appreciate the sort of time we're spending. So I'm going to focus on a couple of interesting, couple of other things. I'm going to jump into the project portfolio itself. Now, something I want to share with you is how some of these different elements come together within Keto, because this is all based on what we've been seeing in the opportunities that AI presents. And so one of the really exciting ways to draw these things together is actually to say, okay, and in this case, we're looking at the whole project portfolio. So you've got a list view here of all these current projects in play, and what's happening, what are the statuses, so on and so forth. Now, if I go into the AI analysis here, what I can do now is I can look at, okay, here are the profitable projects, here's the business strategy, here are the key insights. And then what I can do is I can ask the AI to, what 3 new projects should I launch for business growth? So what it's going to do now is it's going to look at all my information, and it's going to come back to me with some concepts of projects that I should be launching based on its analysis of what we should be doing. So I'm going to select one of these. I like this one, traffic wind turbine. So I'm going to cut and paste this text, and we're working on making this a bit more fluid. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take this text, I'm going to create a new project. And again, what I'm doing here is I'm using all the data, I'm working with the AI, and it's giving me suggestions. So I'm going to say, well, I'll be the project manager on this one. And the project type is, let's say it's R&D. Now, we've already built a workflow into this tool. So there's a process here you can see on the left. So in this case, it's a business case. So this is, sorry, it's initiation phase. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill in some of these details. Let's say I'm the project owner as well, just to save time. And what I can then start doing is, well, what OKRs is this connected to? And again, just looking at some of these areas. parent project, what's the strategic priority, 80%. And this is all modifiable within the tool, so you're not restricted on things. And I'll just go through and put some of these things in here. Again, I won't go too much into this. So I can flesh out more of this information. I can say total value of benefits. There's an SAP code if I want to put in there, but for now I'm just going to keep this quite simple. So I put basic details in there. Now what I can do is I can go into the business case, and because the AI suggests that information, it's really put some of these details together. I can now start generating things like, what's the reason for the project? What needs to be done? I can also look at things, for example, business case risks. I can say approximate cost. I think this is going to be 100,000. Who's the audience? It's going to be wind power customers. What's the total budgeted cost? I can start filling in all this extra information. But again, I'm going to keep this quite simple just because I'm doing a very fast demonstration of the platform. What's the objectives of the reform? How will this affect our customers? Maybe I want this in a paragraph instead. There we go. And I can say, well, what further development after that? Now what I can do is I can ask it to define potential benefits for me. And again, bear in mind, I'm not writing any of this. This is all taken from the existing data set we have. This is all taken from the prompts behind the scenes. This is all taken from how we prepared the AI, but instructed about our business. And it's created multiple sort of tangible and intangible benefits now. And what I can now do is I can go to the concept decision. I can say, now this is all very simplified. For a real project, of course, you'd need more oversight. But if I go in here and I say approval log, I can now move this to the concept stage. Yes, I do. And now I can start filling in things like finance details. I could put in defined benefits. I could also, if there's enough information here, I could actually create a task timeline. I could also start putting in resources. And I can also start creating things like the risk log. So here again, I can click on this and it will take me through and it will start populating risks based on the data set, based on how we trained it, and so on and so forth. So you've got issues here as well. And all of this, essentially in 5 minutes, I've gone from saying, okay, AI, what project should we launch, to creating a new project, to filling in key information. So when I started a project, I didn't have to go start this with a blank piece of paper, but instead the AI has been supporting me all the way along. And then I can also do things like status reports. Now, again, as well, if I look at this, I can say, well, what's been completed so far. Now, again, this is just a sort of bit of a demo, but then I can start putting in place all sorts of different things. I can put in requirements, and then once that's all happy with, I can then move through to the implementation stage. So what I've just done is I've taken everything we've been discussing a bit in the presentation, and I've shown you how at Keto we've sort of built through and integrated AI directly into our platform. So everything from the content generation piece, which I've just shown you with creating a project, the portfolio analysis piece. So it's been all around, well, what's actually happening with the information now? What do we need to be aware of? And then moving on and sort of saying, well, okay, taking that AI portfolio analysis and then saying, okay, well, based on that, well, maybe what new projects do we need to launch? And then taking that again and then taking that back to the project manager level, and then taking that information, all that guidance from the AI, and then using that again for content creation to help create and start populating out a project plan. So what I'm going to do is I hope today what I've shown you so far is, we've taken it right from the idea of like the sort of dream of the automata, what AI could potentially do. We've gone through, the kind of the concepts, the initial ideas. We've shared about how the AI boom has changed everything, and it's only just getting started. And I've shown you how at Keto we've been able to integrate successfully with these new generative AI tools in project management. And I've shown you practically how we've been able to make them work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen one more time, if I may. And what I'll do here is I'll say a very big thank you for your time. And if you want to get in contact with me, our website is ketosoftware.com, and my email address is timothy.bull@ketosoftware.com. So feel free to email me if you've got any other questions or like to know anything more. But what I'll do for now is I'll conclude my presentation here, and we can move through to Q&A if that's okay for you, Setolo.
Yes, Timothy, thank you so much for such a insightful presentation. It was really interesting. We actually already have a lot of questions on the chat box. I'll just read some out for you here. We have one question by Amol, who is asking, will there be a project manager role at all in near future? What is your take on that?
Well, that's a really good question. And what I would say is that one of the things from that article that Antonio Nieto Rodriguez wrote was saying that the kind of project manager role will change. So what we will see is we'll see it to be a lot more the soft skills, the ability to persuade, the ability to get people to work together. I don't think the project manager role will ever go away, but I think it will change. And I think it will be a lot more of those soft skills, because the AI will be able to take on the burden of a lot of these other sort of elements. I hope I've been able to answer that question okay.
I believe so, yes. I do believe in that as well. Another question here by Musa Maigari Musa. She's asking, what are the challenges of generative AI in project management?
Well, that's a great question. I would say there's a few kind of key things. I would say one is around what data are you feeding it? How are you kind of structuring that? Because so much of generative AI, it does rest upon, well, what information are you using with it, and then how are you asking it the right questions? And something we've done with our platform has been to work around very much the prompt-based approach, so that customers can test it and make sure the prompts are giving the right kind of answers. So I would say there's a few kind of crucial things. It's having the right data available. It's about making sure that you're asking the AI the right questions, and it's being able to also to sort of test things and see what works over time. I hope that's able to answer her question okay.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next question here, we have already seen you use the Keto app on the as a demo. So here one person is asking, Tayal is asking if there are any other apps apart from Keto which we can use in client environment.
That's a great question. I would say it very much comes down to you and what you're looking to do. I think there are some others that focus on some specific elements, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I would say, if you've had experience using things like ChatGPT, it also depends upon the right, who you're talking to as well, kind of what their expectations are. One of the advantages of Keto is that everything is within the platform, so you're not having to cut and paste and go lots of different things. But there are lots of different AI tools, and I would encourage you to test and try out different ones, because they'll do all kinds of amazing things for you.
Yes, with trials and errors, you'll get to know which ones would be the best one. Correct. Yeah. So next question here by Musa Maigari, asking how generative AI revolutionizing the project management practices today around the globe.
It's a really good question. So one of the things we've already been seeing a lot of is people cutting and pasting stuff into like ChatGPT, into Gemini, into Copilot, some of these other areas. we're already talking with lots of organizations that have been actually building their own AI systems. So what I would say is there's a combination of different things going on there. I think there are at the kind of big organizational level, I think there's the organization saying, well, how do we manage this? How do we use this successfully? And there are issues, for example, about, well, where's your data going to? For example, we have an agreement with OpenAI, ChatGPT, of how any data we send for them, it's not being used to train their AI for other people. So we have a very kind of strict sort of policies in place there. So I'd say at an organizational level, there's that question. I would say for the project manager level, it's very much that thing Antonio Nieto Rodriguez talked about, which is what burdens can the generative AI take over from me, and what skills do I maybe need to build up as the marketplace changes. I hope that's answered your question okay.
Thank you so much again, Timothy. We have some more questions here. Just before I move in here, may I ask you if I can take over the screen now?
Yes, of course you can.
Okay, thank you. So next question here by Rajendra asking, what are the common tools used for project management and how can these be used in a generic PM role?
Oh gosh, in terms of AI tools, or in terms of more kind of broad tools that I use in project management?
Mm-hmm. So, well, that is not mentioned specifically. He's just asking about the project management, I believe would be towards, okay, in terms of AI tools, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some really interesting ones coming up. I mean, Grok's been quite interesting. That's this sort of X one. Again, it depends. What are you looking to do? What is the important thing you're looking to achieve? So it's kind of like, it's kind of like, well, what cutlery would you use? Well, it depends. Are you trying to cut a steak? Or are you trying to eat some soup? So I would say it's like looking at the various tools. It's like, well, what are you trying to achieve? Is it you looking to improve your resources? Are you trying to improve, how you create your charts, your tasks? It all very much depends on, well, what is it you're looking to achieve there?
Mm-hmm. We have to figure out the main problem here and then go ahead with the solution, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I hope that's answered your question. Okay. I'm sorry it was quite a broad answer.
I believe so, no worries. And yeah, Rajendra, you can always reach out to Timothy as well on LinkedIn. We are sharing their links as well, so you can catch up with him again. We'll move in here with another question by Pramod. Is there any data security risk while using AI in project management, like client data specific to project is getting available on internet?
That's a really good question, because this often comes up, and the way at Keto we've done this has been with the agreements we've signed with AI systems. So within Keto, because everything is being run through the tool, you've got full auditing of, well, what data is actually being shared. And the relationship we have with these AI tools is that the agreements we have is that any data we send them, it's not used to train those AI systems. So what that means is that any customer data is not being shared with the competition, and we've been very strict on that. And I would also on that point as well, it's any data that is sent over in the agreements we have. I think under sort of data protection laws, they have to have it. I think under anti-terrorism and anti-criminal laws, they have to have the data in storage for 30 days on that, wherever the server is, the AI is being hosted. But then after 30 days, it's destroyed. So it's stored for 30 days and then destroyed. It's basically very common. It's same with sort of a lot of data centers and so on. The risk you have is that if you say cut and paste into any old chatbot, so you're not using a system like a Keto, but you're going in, straight into a chatbot, and you say, here's all my clients' key information, and you just cut and paste that into a chatbot without any of those protections in place, that is when you're potentially putting that client information at risk. So it's being very careful. It's always, reading the security details of whatever system you're using. So as I said, within Keto, there's a full audit trail, and we have those protections, we have those agreements in place. But the danger comes when you're just using any old chatbot, putting the information in, cutting, pasting somewhere, dumping it in a chatbot, and you're not sure what those restrictions are. So I would say, as always, check on the terms and conditions. I would say check on those crucial terms and security conditions before you put in confidential information. I hope that clears that up for you.
All right, thank you, Timothy. We have some more questions coming up here. This one is by Jayesh. As I can see within the Keto tool, all the portfolio program and project management tasks are done within it. So what will happen to all three roles within an organization, and what will happen to people working at each of these roles overall?
Great question. So what I would say is that the way we perceive this is that AI is a trusted advisor. So it's an advisor. It's not there to take things over. So it's going to be able to take on a lot of the admin stuff, a lot of the stuff that, when you're working in projects, it just takes up a lot of time. So it's in fact freeing you from that. You will still need your project managers, your portfolio managers, your resource managers. You will still need people working in those crucial roles to actually deliver those projects. So what I would say is that those roles will still remain in one form or another, but the AI is going to be able to take off a lot of the burden off your shoulders. Earlier on this week, I was in fact talking with a major global organization and showing them the system. And they basically said that this is going to take the burden off their project managers, and then they can focus on actual delivery rather than the administration behind it. I hope that's answered that question okay.
Yes, that definitely does for me. So before I go ahead here, I do want to remind everyone on the session here that we'll have a gamification session right after the Q&A is over. So stick with us. We have prizes for the winners, so please stick with us here to play the game. Next question here by Oi Bokure. Generating meaningful project plans or schedules requires high quality data. How can generative AI help to combat these challenges in project management? So he has two questions, but the second one is about aside from Keto, what other apps would be better? So you already answered that. So we'll just answer this first question.
Great. So just to understand the question, it's how can AI help with generating really good quality project sort of task timelines and charts? Is that right? Is that the question? Have I understood that?
I believe so. So the question is, how can generative AI help to combat this challenge in project management?
It's a really good question. And the way that we've worked to kind of square that circle has been through looking at things, for example, what data is being fed there. In this case, what the tool can do is if it's fed a lot of data, like these are successful projects that we want to learn from, we want to copy and build upon, then what the tool can do is it can work on that and suggest to you, well, maybe you want to use this. So what the tool can do is it can actually come up and suggest a task timeline if you put the information in. And that can be done a couple of ways. So making sure that information that's going in there is really good. And then also making sure the prompts are really clear and putting in that information. And in what I demonstrated to you this afternoon, I need a bit more time to sort of fill the other things out. But by the time you get to the ability to create a task timeline, you've already done basic things like put in their business case, put in other details. So the AI will have more to work with. So just to kind of recap, it's about, well, what data are you feeding it? And then how are you training the AI? How are you instructing the AI on what good looks like for your organization? Because it'll be very different for every organization as well. I hope that's answered your question okay there.
Okay, so I'd like to take one question here from our live viewer. He's asking, how can generative AI be leveraged to automate the creation of project status reports and updates while ensuring accuracy and consistency in the information presented?
Oh, that's a great question. So, accurate information, and this is a really important topic. When I was at the Portfolio Management SIG conference last year, I was talking with an APM fellow, brilliant person called Eileen Roden, who I'd encourage you to follow as well. And I was having a chat with her, and she was talking about it wasn't project management, but it was there was a student who got caught out for cheating, and they'd use a chat GPT or something to basically write them an essay. And the way that the person got caught out was it was actually because the chatbot had invented some fictional books and then taken quotes from those fictional books. So I would say with everything, it's being clearly analytical. It's being very careful about, well, what data are you feeding the AI? And again, this comes from putting good data in. So it comes in from having experience and putting the good data in. And then it comes from looking at, well, what prompts are you feeding the AI? And then it will also come from a bit of testing, a bit of making sure it works. So I would say, ensuring that consistency is the right thing. It comes from having good data, it comes from working with the prompts, and it comes from testing and making sure. So having AI as a trusted advisor, but not having AI thinking it will do all the work for you. I hope that answers our live viewers' question.
Timothy, I believe you're going to be having a lot more questions about K2 after this session as well, because there are more questions here. But unfortunately, we have very last time, so we cannot take all the questions, but please feel free to get in touch later on as well. We'll take one last question here, and then we'll move on to the gamification session. This question is by Musa again. How can project managers will continue to embrace the generative AI technology in their project management work in future?
I would say one of the key things is to keep up to speed with, okay, what are the latest tools? What are they capable of doing? I would say it's keeping an eye of those things. And I would also say as well that because it's the modern generative AI, the modern AI boom is still relatively new. I would say that anyone who claims to be an expert is usually quite wrong quite quickly. And I would include myself in this because I'm always trying to keep up to speed with what's happening. So I would say keep up to speed what's happening with the tools, and keep in mind those kind of core things, making sure you're feeding it good data, analyzing, okay, what prompts are we asking it to deliver? And then being able and willing to test things, because there'll be things that will work amazingly well and other things that won't work so well. So as of everything, what data is being fed to it, what prompts, and being willing to test things while also being willing to keep up to speed with the latest developments because they're happening faster and faster.
Great. Thank you so much, Timothy, for answering all the questions. There are more questions again, but please, I request everyone to get in touch with Timothy on LinkedIn. The link is shared on the chat box. You can connect with him again and have more discussions. You can join our LinkedIn group as well to discuss even within the community. So you can have more discussions there. Before we end, go ahead to the gamification session. Timothy, would you like to add any ending statement to this session?
I would just say that thank you everyone very much for your time, for the GSDC for setting this up. And I would say the world is moving faster and faster, but I would say there's so many amazing things that AI can be a fantastic advisor. And I would say above everything, stay human.
Very well said, Timothy. Thank you. So thank you so much again for being a speaker here with us. And it was such an honor hosting you. So as we move in ahead here to the gamification session, I would also like to request you to be a part of it. And to all the participants here, we will be sharing the link of the gamification session. Please click on it, and you can go on and register. you would like to know that the winner will be receiving a $400 worth voucher from GSDC as your prize, and top 3 winners will be published on our GSDC Wall of Fame. Let me just show you the page here, how the dashboard would look like once you click on the link. The link is shared on the chat box, so just click on that link and enter sign up and enter your details and enter the session ID, that is 1761. If you have your credentials or your login credentials, you can always log in with that. If you do not have it, no worries. You can just sign up with a dummy email. Just make sure that your name, that your last name, your first name are properly entered, and then you can enter the session ID, that is 1761. The link is shared on the chat box. You can have a look there. Allow me to quickly share my page as well. I will be sharing the dashboard of the game, whoever enters. For those of you who are playing, who are watching live, the links will be shared on the comment box, so you can click that and you can enter the game as well. What game we will be playing today is we will be playing a stack of coins, which is basically a stack of question and answers where you will be answering accordingly, according to the answers that you choose. You will receive the points. If you choose the right answer in the first try, you will get the highest points. If you choose the answers in the second try, you'll get lower points, and you'll get another third trial, and there won't be any points for the last trial. So yeah, we're moving quickly ahead here. Just before that, I would like to thank our partner Novel Vista for this platform. This gamification platform is designed by our partner Novel Vista, so thank you so much to them. Allow me to share my screen here for the dashboard, the gaming dashboard that we will be playing in. So I hope everyone is able to log in. If you are facing any issue, feel free to leave your queries on the chat box. My colleagues will help you with that. We will be starting the registration in a few minutes. If you haven't registered yet, then please quickly register and we will start ahead. So here you will be able to see my screen where we have all the players who are registered. The link is shared on the chat box, so please click on it and enter your details. You have to go on sign up. You have to go on sign up and enter the session ID. If you have logged in with your previous credentials, then you would find the option for a session ID there. If not, you can always log out and you can sign up again with a dummy email. Just make sure that your name is properly entered. You can sign up with a dummy email and you can input the session ID, that is 1761. We'll give it a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes, to start the game, and we'll begin. In the meantime, okay. If you have entered your name correctly, it will reflect back on this dashboard. If you cannot see your name, then you can log out again. You can log out again and you can sign up with the session ID 1761. Often it might happen that if you enter the wrong session ID, you won't be entering in this dashboard. You have to click on the game as well. Once you enter it, you have to click on the game, the stack of coins, which you see on the first page. Once you click on it, then you will be entering this lobby. If it is showing invalid credentials, please try to sign up. Please sign up with a dummy email. You can just enter 12345@gmail.com, and then you can enter the session ID. Just make sure that your name is properly entered, and then click on stack of coins. Once you click on stack of coins, you will be entered into this lobby. Okay, Mole. Okay, if you are already signed in, you will see the game Stack of Coins, SOC. So just click on that and you will enter this lobby. Yes, you can click on the game and you will enter the lobby. All right, we are running out of time, so we will start the game soon. Please, if you haven't clicked on the game, please do so. I'll give it another 10 seconds here with a countdown from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we have started the quiz. For this quiz, you will be given say 2 minutes to answer all the questions. I have started the timer here. Please keep track of your time, answer the questions accordingly. If you answer the question first, you will get 100 points. The second trial, you'll get 50 points. The third trial gives you 25 points. The fourth trial gives you 0 points. So keep answer it properly within the 2 minutes time. If you were unable to join this game, my apologies. You will, however, you will be able to play this game again on the next session. So do join us on the next session again to try this game. You can always reach out to us as well with the error that you face, and we will do our best to assist you to fix it and present it better on the next session as well. We have 1 minute left to the game. If you are still playing, do hurry up. We have just 1 minute left to this game. All right, I see a very impressive competition going on here. You have around 30 seconds left to complete this. Just 30 seconds left for you to win the $400 voucher. I see Tayal is on the top of the game here, followed by Pranav. If it is still going on, do hurry up. You have few seconds left. Let me do the countdown from 10. And if you haven't completed yet, do hurry up. I'll start the countdown now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's see who is the winner. And congratulations. Here you can see the winners here. Ayunat, Pragati, and Tayal. Congratulations to both of all three of you. Thank you so much for playing, and thank you to everyone who has played. You can see your scores from this dashboard here. You can check it out here on your screen, or I'm also sharing my screen. You can check it from here as well. So thank you so much for playing. Before we go ahead here, can I request any one of the three winners to quickly unmute yourself and let us know about your takeaways on this game. Hello, Ayunat.
Hello. Well,
Hi, how was your game?
well, it was quite interesting. Especially, I'm a fan of gamification, but I never thought about gamification in this context. And it just clicked once I saw the questions that we can use gamification in this instances as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's basically you open an entire new field of exploration.
Thank you so much. You will be able to play more such gamification on our other sessions as well. We have several other games as well prepared. So do join us again on other sessions to play again. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much to everyone for joining the session. We will go ahead and end today's session here. Just before you leave, I would like to let you know that we will be having another session with another amazing speaker on the 12th of April. The topic will be on finance and banking, generative AI in finance and banking. So if you are interested, do join. If you have colleagues, friends, anyone who is interested in finance and banking, do share with them about this, and we will connect back again on 12th of April with another great session. Whoever could not play today, my apologies to you, but you can always jump in and join. Yes, some people say the ranking changed. That is because the network connection is different for everyone. So whatever connection goes the fastest for us, the winner shows on that. So whatever winners are being shown on the screen, it will be put up on as the winners for the session. We would also love to connect with you, so feel free to join our LinkedIn group. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions regarding the certifications, apart from generative AI as well, we would love to connect. Our learning advisors would love to connect with you. So feel free to join us. And to the 3 participants who have won the gamification session today, do feel free to reach out to us. My email will be shared on the chat box. You can directly email me as well, and we will continue the conversation of how to claim your prize tier. Also, we would love to have your Trustpilot reviews on our Trustpilot, any takeaways, any learning outcomes that you have received from here. We would be so happy to have it on our Trustpilot review. Please leave us a comment, just a hi or anything on our Trustpilot. The link is shared on the chat box. So yeah, thank you so much again, everyone, for joining. Until we see you again on 12th of April, I hope everyone has a lovely day, evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much, and see you again.